How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to some more Link to the Past. Today we are going to be getting the flippers and then making our way to, I think it's a castle, which is our third dungeon. But it's not really a castle, it's more like a tower, I guess. But still, pretty cool. You don't really need to stop in here. You can talk to this guy up here in the corner. He's just gonna talk about how the blood of the hero must be in your veins, which I guess is a good thing, because Link is the hero. Then you can head off to the graveyard, because we do need some money, so push that block there. You're gonna drop down here, which is actually the basement of the castle again. In case you ever wanted to come back here, you can. And there's two bombable walls. One is right here, and the other is above. Doesn't matter which one you bomb, because either way you're going to be getting some goodies. And wait for the bomb to explode. And then you're going to head out in this room. 3 pots, 3 treasure chests. One of the treasure chests, excuse me, there's 6 pots. One of the treasure chests contains 300 rupees. The other contains some arrows, and I think the third one contains some bombs as well. So you're going to be getting stocked up in here, which is always good. There's our rupees, and then there's our arrows. And speaking of bombs and arrows, there's actually a way to increase the capacity for arrows and bombs, which we're going to be getting later on in this episode. Now, you're going to need a hefty amount of rupees to acquire each upgrade for the bombs and arrows. I believe it's by 100 you have to deposit to the fairy, which we're going to be seeing later, and she's how you upgrade your bombs and arrows. I think the max capacity is something like 65 or 75, somewhere along those lines. So you do get a pretty decent upgrade eventually if you have the rupees for it. What I would personally recommend is to upgrade the bombs, because they seem kind of scarce at times. Maybe not so much as arrows. I mean, arrows you can just like hardly ever find, at least in my experience. But I feel like we don't really need arrows too often, you know? Whereas bombs, you are going to need quite a bit throughout the game, and they're always helpful for damaging enemies and whatnot. We do get an arrow upgrade later on in the game, but that's so much later that it's kind of by that point you're just all set up with all your items and whatnot. So whatever you want to start off upgrading is entirely up to you. Just personally, I would recommend bombs first, because we already do have the 30 arrow capacity, and that'll serve us pretty well for now. So whatever floats your boat, just personally I'd recommend bombs. So now what we're going to do is going to be getting the flippers, which are a pretty exciting item in Zelda games. I know in a lot of the 3D games you can start out by swimming, but in the 2D games ordinarily you have to get flippers for them, and unfortunately for this game there's no exciting underwater sequences like there was in the Oracle games. Actually, that came after this, so but there's no exciting underwater sequences like the Oracle games, which it is what it is. We still do get the excitement of being able to swim in the Zelda game for the first time, which I must say, the graphical step up from Zelda 2 to this game, it's extremely impressive. Like, it doesn't feel like we really see these big gaps anymore in Zelda games. Like, the upgrades just, they don't seem this big, you know? I mean, Twilight Princess HD to Breath of the Wild on the Switch, I'm pretty sure that was probably pretty decent of an upgrade. I know that Breath of the Wild's art style is kind of, I feel like it kind of hides the improvements, but I know Breath of the Wild was on the Switch as well, just Wii U, but I don't know, I feel like the sort of jumps in between the Zelda games just graphically isn't as big as it used to be, which is kind of to be expected, I suppose, because we're kind of nearing the limit now where it's really going to be hard to make that much more improvement, I think. Because I see a lot of games now, especially on PC, and it's just, there gets to be a certain point where it just stops looking like a video game and looks more so like real life, which I don't know if that's the goal or not. Personally, I'd prefer if the video game always looks like a video game, not really real life, you know? So I kind of do see if it was intentional for Tears of the Kingdom to kind of keep the same graphic style as Breath of the Wild, not really improve it too much. But I'm curious as to how they're going to handle Zelda games in the future, like what they're going to look like on the next Switch console, whatever that may be called. And just, I don't know, kind of excited for Nintendo's future, because what they lack in the graphics and whatnot, in those areas they don't really lack too bad. It's just that they're kind of like a generation behind in some aspects. Gameplay-wise, they're phenomenal. And there's a piece of art we just grabbed there. I am really looking forward to the Switch 2, though. I've already put aside some money towards it, so definitely looking forward to the Zelda games and the Animal Crossing. Well, we more than likely have at least 2 years before the next Animal Crossing, because from New Leaf to New Horizons was 7 years, at least in North America, so got some time left. And that's another thing, too. I don't kind of just randomly talking about different stuff. One thing I do want to say quick here is you can upgrade the you can throw 3 items in. You can upgrade 2 items. You can throw in your boomerang, get the magical boomerang, and then you can throw in your shield, and that'll I don't know what it's called. I think it's just like the level 2 shield, and that'll prevent you from being damaged by the fireballs, assuming your shield's facing that direction. One thing I was gonna say though is that in terms of like the new Animal Crossing and whatnot, I'm just, I don't know, kind of shocked just the way that people are, like, they were already tired of New Horizons. I mean, granted, New Horizons wasn't as full of content as New Leaf was, but just the overall public, like, it seemed they were so tired and wanted a new game already in, like, 23, and here we are coming out in 2025, so I definitely don't think New Horizons maybe had the overall same lifespan that New Leaf did, but I don't know, it's just me. I know a lot more people bought New Horizons, but I think that's mostly just because of COVID, so I really don't know how it would sell on the next Switch console, because I don't really know, like, because affordability is gonna certainly have an effect on everything, so I don't know. But here we are at one of the fairy fountains, and this is where we can increase our item capacity. So like I said, I'm going to start out with bombs and just kind of go from there. And then the way to repeatedly talk to her is just to keep on throwing in more rupees, just back away, throw in rupees, back away, and then throw in more rupees. So we have a quick little pit stop we can do to get another bottle just after upgrading our bomb capacity. So we're going to want to swim up here and keep swimming, and then go to the left here, and there's going to be a nice old random dude under the bridge who has a bottle, because that's going to cheer us up since the law is after Link, and I don't know. I remember when I was little, I always wanted to go in this tent. I don't know why, it just looks like it'd be having a really interesting interior, sort of like the Carpenter's tent in Gerudo Valley, but either way, it's probably not that exciting. But after we get the bottle, we're going to make our way up towards Death Mountain, so keep on swimming back, and then we're going to head up to the top left corner of the map, just by the Lost Woods, and we're going to come across this cave, lift up the big old boulder, and drop down here, and now we're getting close to a little interesting segment of the game. You can probably tell by the thumbnail what it is. Link is going to turn into a bunny, which it's always exciting to see Link's transformations, right? Now, this actually wasn't Link's first transformation. The first transformation Link had is the I guess it's not really a transformation, although it kind of is. In Zelda 2, you can actually turn into a fairy, so that is sort of Link's first transformation, if you want to call it that, but otherwise, if you don't want to consider that a transformation, him turning into a bunny here is his first transformation. So it started off as a bunny, it went to a Deku, then a Goron, then Zora, a giant, fierce deity, shrinking down, diminish size, wolf link, and just so on and so forth. I think it's kind of... Has it been a while since we've seen Link with a transformation? I kind of feel like it has. Like, not including the remakes and whatnot. It's been a while. Now we have the mirror, which is going to let us get back to this world in just a bit when we go to the Dark World, which is this game's version of, I guess, like, the Twilight Realm, Twilight Zones, Spirit Realms, that sort of thing. This is the game that started it all. And it's really cool how it's sort of paved the way for everything else. I mean, without the Dark World, who knows if we even have Lorule or Twilight Zones or Spirit Realms or the Still World from Echoes of Wisdom. Just sort of feels like it all started here. And I believe the Dark World is a pretty big inspiration for Twilight, if I'm not mistaken, like more so than the other sort of things, because I believe the Spirit Realm or Spirit Trials from what was that, Skyward Sword? I believe those all are based off Twilight Princess, or heavily inspired from there. So I do like the shifting world mechanics. It's always a unique take in the Zelda games. Although I must say, in Echoes of Wisdom, I was really hoping more towards more still world time, like a full exploration, and not just sort of little chunks at a time. But it is what it is. You can drop down here. There's going to be a little heart piece we're going to be able to get here, so that's going to put us at 3/4 of a heart. And unfortunately, we're not going to get that last piece of heart this video, but perhaps in 2 videos from now we will. Who knows? So we're just going to step up here. I don't think that little Sahasra says anything to say. Or no, sorry, that was half a heart. My bad. There's some fairies over here we can grab if you really need them. I do have a fairy already, which hopefully I don't need, but you never know. Watch me struggle there. There we go. And then we can make our way towards the next little dungeon. We're not going to spend too much time in the Dark World in this video, just sort of a little introductory to the eeriness of it, I suppose. These are some enemies we're going to be seeing in the next dungeon as well. I forget what they're called. They're like... I don't think they're Moldarms, are they? I don't know. But there's a boss that's based on them, which is probably one of the biggest pain in the butt bosses of this game. Just because there's a platform that you go on, and if he knocks you off there, you have to restart the entire fight, which is not enjoyable, but it is what it is, you know? And here is going to be our introduction to the Dark World, which... we have Bunny Link going on, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if there's a mod or not, but I think it'd be really cool if someone makes a mod, or if there's a mod that lets you swing your sword and shield around. That'd be really cool. But these were also people at one point in Hyrule who got turned into dark creatures in Lorule. Or not Lorule, goodness gracious. Here we got me talking about those different zones and confusing everything. Dark World. So, unfortunately, we can't really rescue this ball dude, but hopefully at some point someone will. Maybe some nice little hedgehog will come along or something. Maybe a plumber. I don't know. I just wanted to see how far I'll kick him around. And he actually kicks him kind of all over the place. I don't know if it's RNG based or if there's just that path for him. But it's pretty entertaining to just watch him be flung all over the place. Either way, we can teleport up here using the magic mirror, and we're going to find ourselves now at the 3/4 of a piece of heart. Heart container, whatever you want to call it. And that is pretty much going to do it for this video. You can watch me kind of attempt to kill this thing for a bit and fail over and over. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.